Ja, jag gillar ju hockey, det gör jag. När jag var i 18-20 års åldern så var jag själv engagerad som ordförande i ungdomssektionen i Klima Hockey. Med de ungdomarna hade man många fina minnen och åkte Skåne runt på alla de här hockeyarenorna. Vi hade ganska stor framgång med ett pojklag som till och med gick till pojk-SM, och det var fantastiskt för ett sånt litet samhälle som Limota. Lycka till, grabbar!
Hi guys, this is Tobias from NESTOR and you're listening to That Metal Interview.
That Metal Interview.
This is a nostalgic episode for us 80s fanatics, as I should call ourselves, because not only are we from the 80s, but we like the 80s sound and the 80s music. And today's band and our guest for this episode of That Metal Interview is from an 80s sounding band. The name of the band is NESTOR, N-E-S-T-O-R, and we have frontman Tobias Gustavsson chatting in an awesome conversation about the 80s and how NESTOR got their 80s sound. And also, if you guys follow NESTOR, you guys know there was a big hiatus there, a big gap there where they stopped playing at about 1995 and made their return. And we will find out why they made the return and how. Right now, let me introduce to you their latest, the newest video, and also is the title of the album, Teenage Rebel. We'll be right back.
My hometown, where my roots
an awesome sound. In my case, in my taste, should I say. I love that sound. I'm from the 80s, so if you are from the 80s, you will like Nestor and their sound. So check them out. The album has dropped since May 31st. It is available for you guys to purchase, download, stream, and of course YouTube has their couple of videos from that album. The new one being Teenage Rebel, which you just heard. And let's cut it short and go directly to the interview with frontman Tobias Gustavsson of NESTOR. Enjoy. What part of the planet are you at? What part of the world?
I'm in Spain, quite close to Barcelona, 30 km south of Barcelona in Spain.
Is that where the whole band is based from, or?
No, the band is based in Sweden, and we're from Sweden. But I moved here 5 years ago, so the rest of the guys, yeah, we're kind of spread out, but the rest of the guys are in Sweden.
So how was that summer breeze in Brazil? That's in Brazil, right?
Yeah. No, it was great. It was great for us, going overseas to Latin America. I haven't been there before. It was kind of amazing to see that there were so many people showing up knowing the songs. It was a little bit of, we haven't been there before, as I said, so we had to pinch our arm. There was more than 1,000 people singing our songs, which is kind of crazy, but lovely, of course.
So how are those flights? I mean, I've flown before here in the U.S. I'm in Texas, by the way.
Yep.
Those must be long flights. Like, how many hours is that? 18 hours? 10 hours?
No, it's actually not that. 12, 11, 11:30, something like that. For me, I realized afterwards, but we did some other stuff in Sweden before. But if I had gone from Barcelona directly to Sao Paulo, I think it's only 10 and a half hours, or only. But going from London, it's a bit... I think it was 11:30.
Nice.
But,
wow, that's a long time to be in a plane.
Yeah, it is. It's not something you do every day. It's like, but if it's for a good cause, it's worth it, I guess.
For sure, and you get on stage and it's all worth it, right? For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So I saw your Wacken performance last year, 23, and there's a segment there where you speak of your normal jobs.
Yeah.
One of the members is a police officer. The other is a principal in a school. Is that still going on, or do you guys stop doing that? Or
no, but it's up to now. We've been doing that again, or they've gone back to their jobs. But now we're going on tour this summer, and for the autumn we also will be on tour. So I guess they will do it a little bit, like three days a week. But we're aiming for them to stop doing that by 2025. So, but I shouldn't say that it's too, it's always a hassle to get your time working, being on tour, doing this and that. But for the keep your feet on the ground, so to speak, that's a good thing to be a principal a couple of days, then playing Wacken a couple of days later. So,
well, that's cool. I can imagine when I was a kid, seeing my principal on stage at a Download Festival or something. That'd be cool. That's a cool principle right there.
Cool. Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning, Tobias.
Yeah.
I believe the band was formed in '89. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So what happened there? There's a big old gap there where you guys stopped playing, like in '91, '92, or '95 or something.
'95. Yeah. No, but long story short, we got this record deal when we were like 15, 16 years old, and we moved to the closest big city called Gothenburg, and we really tried to, make it for a couple of years. We released 2 EPs, not officially, but we released it. But then, the normal stuff, it's like someone met a girl and someone were like, yeah, but I'm going to go to university and all that stuff. So life kind of came in between. We never said that we took a pause or that we broke up the band or anything. We just, it just like sand through my fingers, right? That kind of feeling. And then we stayed friends since then. I've always been in the music business. I'm a songwriter and a producer, so I've been in this business for a long, long time. And then when the pandemic hit, I was sitting at home, and important to mention is that we stayed friends throughout the years. When I go back or we go back to our hometown, we usually see each other for a late night jam drinking, not that much of jam, more drinking beer, but that kind of thing. And so when the pandemic hit, I was sitting at home playing playing on my piano, and for some reason I ended up playing all these. I want to know what love is. Is this love? Just 80s songs. And my wife said, it's kind of strange. You only play 80s songs. And then I got this idea. Yeah, I should make an album like the album that we never had the chance to or skill to make in '89. Imagine if we could do that now. So I called them up and asked, is it time to put the band together? And the bass player said, what took you so long? and then we kind of, the idea was to make 3 or 4 songs, 80 style, 89, 88 to 80, or 87 to 89-ish. But then, turned out to be a full album. And I shouldn't say that the rest is history, but then it took, it blew out of proportion, so to speak. We thought it was going to be one show or something like that. And then now we've been almost touring the world, which is kind of crazy.
Very cool. So that was one of my questions. How did the band develop that 80s sound? I mean, it's undeniable. You hear it and it's just 80s, the keyboards and...
But I think the biggest reason is that we grew up with this music. So we are from that kind of era. We're all pushing 50. So we kind of know these sounds. It's not like I got this question the other day that there was someone saying like there's a lot of band sounding like the 80s, but you're the real thing. And I said yeah, because we're from the 80s. So I guess it has to do with the fact that in my studio here you can't see it, but I got tons of analog synths that I bought throughout the years, and exactly if you listen to 5150 with Van Halen, I know what sound it is. I know that kind of thing. So I guess that, I don't know if I answered your question, but I guess that is one of the reasons that we were brought up with this with this sound and still loving it very much, So, and also I think nowadays bands seem to take a shortcut and do triggers on drums, which make all the drum sounds the same. We were really picky in that sense, that we really wanted our own drum sound. It should sound like drums, and all that stuff. So, and it all adds up, I guess. So in the end, it's that 80s sound for some reason.
Yeah, so you got the record contract with Napalm, right?
Yep.
How did that come about? Did they, obviously they like the sound of, that you guys are putting out 80s stuff.
Yeah, the thing was that we weren't looking for a record label. I thought that, as I've been in this business for a long time, I said to the guys that let's do it independently. Then we can control everything. But then, so we released, the album was actually released on our own label first. But then there was, talking about Brazil and Summer Breeze, there was some fans from Brazil saying like, yeah, we love you guys, but for us to order the vinyl, it's going to cost us a fortune because the only place you have it is in Stockholm at your web shop. So we can't really buy it. And then I thought, we might need a distributor. And then I spoke to a couple of them, and then I know Thomas at Napalm since way back. So I called him up and said like, maybe we're looking for a label now. And he said, yeah, you should come to us. So that was, we talked to some other labels as well. But Napalm seems to be great, even though we stick out a bit with our 80s music towards their more heavy stuff. But yeah, that's cool.
So the new record coming out May 31st, Teenage Rebel.
Yep.
Talk about the making of that. Who's the lyric? You're part of the lyricist yourself, and like the riffs.
Yeah, Johnny, the guitar player, he's like the riff king. So normally he's like, he has a riff, sends it over, and I take it from there. And I've written the main part of the album and also produced it. So, but it's me and the guitar player would do most of the stuff on it. And this time around, the first album we did during the pandemic, which was, of course, tricky because we have to, send files digitally back and forth. But this time around, we've been recording everything where I'm at right now. Not the drums, we recorded them in Sweden, but everything else is recorded in my studio. So the guy's been flying down from Stockholm or from Sweden every weekend, and we've been recording stuff. So it took us 14 months, I think, to get the album ready.
Yeah, some cool songs in there. There's some ballads in there. I love the ballads. I love the whole thing. It just kicks ass. The whole. I'm an '80s fan, so you got me there. How about talk about Last to Know and The One That Got Away? Those are badass, awesome ballads right there. Did you write that or?
Cool. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Last to Know, to start with that one, I knew quite early in the process. I'm really cynical in that sense that you look at, as we both love the 80s and the album thing, the whole vinyl thing. I knew that I wanted this third song on the album to be a bit like Hysteria, Every Breath You Take. What's that song with Heart? All I want to do is making love to you. That kind of, kept down, I don't know, sunstrip somewhere in the world, the sun in your eyes, that kind of feeling. So Last to Know came about like that. I had this mid-tempo, that groove, and I wanted a song like that. And then it just, the lyric-wise, it was like, yeah, you've been together with someone for a long, long time, and all of a sudden you realize that this ain't gonna work, and you're happy if you're not the last one to know, basically. So that song, was that. And the other one was the one that got away. I wrote that one as well, and my inspiration was, of course, You're the Inspiration with Chicago, which I always loved. Yeah. So and then I had this idea of, we had a, not from Texas but from Arizona, exchange student in my class when I was like in 9th grade or something like that. And, we fell in love, and then she went back, and I never saw her. So this song is a little bit about her, the one that got away. Yeah. What would have happened if I would have followed you to Arizona, or if you would have stayed, kind of.
You would have been in Arizona.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. So when you guys are writing these 80s sounding songs, original of course, did your keyboard player go back and listen to, is this Love from Whitesnake, or Love Walks In from Van Halen, or what? Or do you guys just choose right there fresh sounds? Or
no, we do a lot of that. Then those, as you mentioned, both of those been in this little kind of mail thread or whatever we have, where we have inspirations. The 5150 album was also in there to find those sounds that are in Chicago and all that stuff. But then you realize when you kind of get that sound, it feels a bit like sometimes that you have to add stuff nowadays because you want something that says that it's not the 80s still. It's up to date in that sense. But to answer your question, yes, it's always the reference looking, and to be brave enough to use these sounds. Nowadays it's like, yeah, but it's not that stereo wide. Doesn't matter. This is how it should sound. We had guitars on top, and it's going to be great in them. So,
would you say this is a continuation of your first album, Kids in a Ghost Town, or is this different?
It is. No, it's like a sequel. It's kids become teenagers, I guess, and the Kids in a Ghost Town is a bit more glorified idea of growing up in a small town, loving hard rock, and Teenage Rebel is more about a bit older, where the rest of the society kind of tells you to cut your hair and get a job. That feeling. So you probably know the feeling. So Teenage Rebel has a bit more, fuck you, I'm gonna go my way. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a rock god. Kind of thing.
I guess it's everywhere where your parents try to get you to cut your hair and stop listening to Van Halen or Metallica or whatever.
Yeah.
It exists everywhere in the world, huh? There's a...
Exactly. It was like back in the day when hard rock was like Satan. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I would listen to... this interview is about you guys, but I would listen to Motley Crue and Metallica, Bon Jovi, and my parents thought that was the devil, the music of the devil, but
my parents, I remember Master of the Puppets, that when I got that album, that was the first time they really came up to my room, because I was living on the second floor, and she was like, what is this? I was like almost the teacher in what's that Twisted Sister pin on your whatever.
Yeah. The Twisted Sisters video, those type of parents are everywhere, I guess. The anti-metal rock parents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the tours, speaking of these tours, you guys just announced a tour in Europe, the Teenage Rebel. Do you guys rehearse for that? Or are you guys just that badass that you don't rehearse anymore? Or when do you guys rehearse?
No, we do rehearsals. I just came back. We started a little tour with Europe, the Swedish band Europe, to support them. And so we had 4 days Yeah, we did our first show this Saturday, and now we're doing next show on Saturday again. So we're playing Fridays and Saturdays with them. And so every time we see each other, then we not every time, but this time before we started this tour, we did like 4 or 5 days of rehearsals. And for the German or the Germany, Austria, Switzerland tour this autumn, we have 1 week almost. So we actually we do a lot of preparations all on our, so we won't get to rehearsals. It's not like, what song is that now again? It's more like, then we know watch it, but of course we need to rehearse.
Yeah. Of course. How many new songs are you guys throwing in there from this album?
Well, we're doing, as the album is not released yet, at the moment when we're doing these Europe shows, we only play 2, the singles that have been released, but then we're doing Sweden Rock Festival, which is a big festival here in the 10th of or 8th of June, and then the album is out. So I'm actually, before we started talking, I was sitting with that set list, and I think we're going to put in 4 or 5 songs in that set, I think, of the new ones. So we'll see. The album's been out for a week, then it's a bit too early to throw all of the songs in there, but we'll see,
Man, it must be exciting rehearsing these new songs. I mean, I heard the album, the new album, and they're all just 80s sounding awesome stuff. It must be a thrill to listen to that stuff in a room with loud amps. And how does that feel?
No, but it feels great. It's this music is, the music we're playing is made to be played live. It's really live music, So of course, especially, we said that the other day, I got this question if Nestor is like an indoor club band or arena band, and we fit both, but I think these songs, they're great on arenas. So we did like production rehearsals now the other day when we were at the old theater, 500 seats, not too big, but still with a big PA and all the amps and stuff, and it's like amazing. That's where the songs really come to its best. So it feels great, even though sometimes it's like, we have to tweak this song a bit. It works on the album, but it doesn't really work live. So, but in general, it feels great to play the new songs live.
Yeah, very exciting for sure. So you mentioned Europe, and I understand you guys have opened for Kiss and is it Alice Cooper and all these bands? I mean, not just anybody can say that. I mean, I'm a local musician here in Texas, and I can't say that. How does that feel to be next to Gene Simmons? Or
oh yeah, that was crazy because we all are huge Kiss fans. No, but it feels great. Of course, it's a bit, as we started talking about, that we actually started this band in '89. If I could talk to my 14-year-old self and tell him that you're gonna hang out with Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, like backstage, he's drinking tea and you're drinking a beer, it's going to be, and I would probably fainted but nowadays it's funny that you kind of, in a good way, you get used to it really fast. It's like, it's not that. The other day I was sitting with Joey Tempest talking about production and stuff, and it feels like these guys, they have the same interest as you and I do as well. You talk about albums, you talk about recordings and producers and stuff like that, and guitar amps, and all of a sudden it feels like the most common, what do you say, like the most common thing in the world. It's like
Normal. Yeah.
But of course, yeah, the normal thing, yeah, sure.
how are the guys from Def Leppard? Did you get to talk to those guys, or?
No, we didn't. Actually, we didn't. We did 3 shows with Mötley and Def Leppard this summer, but we were unlucky in that sense that those 3 shows Def Leppard were headlining, so they came late, and we had already left when they came. We took some pictures with Nicky Six and Tommy Lee, though, but it would have been nice to say hi to the guys in Def Leppard. Of course, they are huge, have been huge inspiration for us.
Wow, what an honor! I would have melted like cheese right there. I would have.
Yeah. It's a bit, but yeah, and it's lovely. We had Nicky Six on standing on stage when we performed in Trondheim. So he was standing by the drums. He asked us before the show if he could be on stage when we played, and we were like, no, of course you can. So he was standing there, like, yeah, and afterward, great show, guys, and we were super nice to them and warmed up the audience, saying like, hey, our childhood heroes is entering the stage after us, and give it up for Mötley Crüe. So that was cool.
Were you nervous, or of course you were, or?
Yeah. But the thing is that is like, we have our own festival in our hometown called Nestor Fest, which we've done now, doing it for the third year in a row, and that is even more. I'm getting more nervous when I'm doing these shows because it's our audience. It's a sold-out show, and we are the main attraction. When you perform or when you support bands like Kiss was a different thing, but with Mötley and Def Leppard, it's their audience basically. So you don't get that nervous. For me, it feels I'm there to do a job. I'm there to support, the main acts, but also to get our name across. So usually you don't get that nervous. Kiss was a different thing because, I've always loved Kiss, and, the Kiss fans could be a really bit like, ooh, but it was a great audience. It was perfect. It was in Stockholm as well, so we had a lot of people there. But that was a bit more, more nervous because I was like, what if they get off stage? It was nice.
Yeah, that won't happen. Back to that Wacken performance last year. The song Tomorrow, this girl went up there to sing. Who's that girl?
Her name is Lulu Gartman. She's a singer from Gothenburg, great singer. So she's been with us doing that song. The original was Samantha Fox, but she hasn't been with us live. So
you guys, every song I've heard from you guys is awesome. Maybe it's because I'm from the 80s too. But there is no bad song. How do you guys do that? I mean, you don't have a song that sucks at all.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the only thing I can say. We put a lot of effort into it. It's like, I shouldn't say that other bands doesn't, but for me or for us, we really, every song, we work with every song for quite a bit. I think that is the trick, that you're not satisfied until it's exactly how you want it to be.
Yeah. Do you have a go-to album? Let's say you're not in your studio, you're somewhere in your living room or your car. What do you listen to? I mean, is there a certain album or?
No, it could be anything, but I don't have any. I have, of course, this is one of my best albums ever. I always listen to the Temple of the Dog, Chris Cornell's first, this band released one album that I always been in love with since it came out. And of course, the album 5150 with Van Halen. That is one of those. Also, Crazy Nights with Kiss, which is for me, I love that album. Waking Up the Neighbors, Bryan Adams, is always also a fantastic album. The Hysteria album with Def Leppard is a great one. It could be anything depending on what kind of mood I'm in. This morning I was listening to Live Wire with Mötley on the first album.
Yep.
Take me to the top, take me to the top. It's like, now when you listen to it, yeah, but still in the right mood.
That's cool. And you met that guy. You met some of those guys.
Yeah. Giant is a great album. Last of the Runaways, if you remember that one. Love that album.
Giant. Oh yeah. So what's on your bucket list here? I know you guys have an agenda and you got a tour coming up. What do you dream of? What's in your dreams here? What's next for your?
I guess the dream is to we're struggling a bit financially when it comes to go on the tour, so we always have to be really selective with what kind of shows we do. It has to pay well, of course, but the dream is so boring though. But it would be great to be able to actually bring the people that we work with on tour, but not just on tour, to be able to pay them, correctly. Nowadays it's always like, yeah, if you do this I can help you with that. And that would be great to be able to say okay, now you're doing this new design for the new merchandise shirts or whatever, and here's a bag full of money. No, but here's enough, so that would be great. Then of course going on tour, coming over to you guys, to the US. We did the Monsters of Rock cruise, but it's not really the US, but in the Caribbean. It would be great to do a US tour, a North America tour. There's a lot of things we want to do, but mainly to be able to keep on doing what we're doing and get the principal and the cop out of their jobs so they can be rock stars full time.
Well, that's cool. So here's a sci-fi question. If you could time travel, where would you go to and which year? Would you go to the past or the future?
I think I would. Yeah, I would have gone. I probably would have gone back to where I actually. I would love to go back to 1985 in this age that I am right now. I would probably go back to the Sunset Strip, you know, California, 1985. To just see that, to be a part of that scene when everything was happening. Bands we talked about like Skid Row, Mötley, Warrant, all these guys. To see them, you know, when they were playing the Whiskey Go Go or whatever, see those small shows and knowing that these bands are going to grow up and be huge. That would have been nice, I think.
That'd be great. Well, me too. Well, have you been to the Sunset Strip or?
Yeah. I worked quite a bit in LA with other musical projects. So I've been there quite a lot, but never with Nestor. But that would be lovely.
Is there some projects that you might want to mention? Who have you worked with or?
No, but I worked with a lot of different artists like Britney Spears, Americans.
Really?
Yeah. I did a world tour with her back in the day, 2001. So I've been working with her. Kylie Minogue. I did a tour with Pink. So I've been doing a lot of, and also songwriting for Nelly Furtado and
wow,
kind of bands.
I did not know that. Wow, I should have done more research.
You know, this is in the past, but still, you know, it's of course great to have been able to see how the big ones do it. You know.
Wow, you've been there. Wow. What did you do with Britney Spears, if I may ask?
No, I was touring. We were support for her with a band called Boson. So we did her whole world tour. We wrote a song that was in a Sandra Bullock movie back in the day called Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
So that, you know, never really made it in America, but it was a huge hit in Europe. So when we wrote that song, we went on tour with Britney. So then I got to know her, and then some years after that, I was working on one of her tracks with the old Sharon guys in Stockholm. So I worked with her both on tour and in the studio as well. Or I never worked with her in the studio, but with her songs in the studio, so to speak.
Wow, what a resume! Wow, you're just all over the place here.
Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
But it's like, yeah, but you know, that's in the past. It was cool back then, and still cool. But nowadays, it's like you kind of treasure other stuff. It's like doing your own thing and being able to talk to you guys like you that has the same kind of, you know, background and actually being able to say like, yeah, this synth sound on this album is amazing, instead of like, yeah, we got an audience of 10,000 kids that don't care about shit. They just there because it's a hype, you know. So it's I shouldn't say that it's anything bad about that, but still it's different things.
Back to the album real quick. Which is your favorite track?
I think Last to Know, I have to say. Last to Know is one. Of course, the last song, Daughter, I wrote that one for my daughter, so it's of course a very, very
Personal.
special one for me. Yeah, but when the album was done, or during the album, I always came back to the Last to Know track and thought that, wow, this is really the track that I, as I said, wanted to, you know, cab down and take a ride into the sunset kind of thing.
So thank you for your time, Tobias. I'll let you do the other interviews. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see you in Texas soon in the U.S.
I'd love to come. Thank you very much, James. It was great. Thank you.
We hope you guys enjoyed our conversation with Tobias and this awesome theme of the 80s, as I call it. And we hope you guys are supporting and will be supporting the band Nestor, Nestor. Look them up on their socials, their website, record label Napalm Records. You guys can search for their stuff, and if you see they're coming into town, swing by, go check them out. These guys are just awesome vocals, awesome music. Truly highly recommended on my part. From your friend James, from the planet Earth, thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for subscribing, ringing the bell, blah blah blah. You know what to do. And don't forget to keep it metal.
That metal interview.